Zach Wilson will be attending tight end university, and we'll talk about why I think that's a good thing. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary, back with another video, and today I'll be breaking down Zach Wilson going to TEU. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast. New episodes drop every single Monday. You also have Patreon for bonus New York Jets content. Link to that is down below in the description. We have player write-ups on Fridays. We have new shows of Exit 16 West. This week, we are having on, I'm not going to say yet, but it's someone you know very well. So check it out. Link to that will be down below in the description. So Zach Wilson is cutting his vacation in Cabo short to come back for TEU, also known as Tight End University. So TEU is something that started last year. Greg Olsen put it together where he's creating this camp for the best tight ends in the world, and they get quarterbacks to come and throw to them for obvious reasons. And this year, some of the quarterbacks that are participating is Trey Lance, and George Kittle is very involved in this, so that makes sense. Former 49ers quarterback CJ Beathard is participating, and you also have Zach Wilson, who's involved now. And I love the idea of Zach Wilson being involved, and you have guys like the household names like Kittle and Kelsey, and last year, there were up to 50 different tight ends, the top tight ends in the world. So obviously, when it gets a little bit closer, we'll see who else is going to be involved. But there's a few reasons why I really like Zach Wilson participating. And I know what some people might be thinking is, who the hell cares? It's just basically an extra practice or training session, kind of like what he was doing with his teammates going around. But for me, last year, the Jets really didn't utilize the tight ends a whole lot. Obviously, they had Tyler Kroft, who just signed with the 49ers, who's maybe going to be at best their second tight end, and he was the Jets' best tight end on the roster last year. You had Ryan Griffin, Gross, Daniel Brown, Trayvon Wesco. And early on in the year, they really tried to utilize the tight ends. They were even running 2 tight end sets. And the reason why so many people, myself included, were so frustrated with that is because that wasn't the strength of this team. But to me, my interpretation was, that's what the Jets really want to be, is they want to be a team who can utilize multiple tight ends, which is why they signed 2 in free agency, which is why they drafted Jeremy Ruckert in the 3rd round. So yeah, they're going to use those guys, whether it's Conklin, whether it's Uzama, whether it's Ruckert, maybe it's all of them, not all of them on the field at the same time, probably very often, but they're going to utilize these guys. And like I said, Zach Wilson doesn't have a lot of experience throwing to the tight ends yet, but being involved in just kind of getting in that rhythm with throwing with the tight end. And again, it might not even be tight ends who are going to be on your roster, but I think it's going to help him fall in love with the idea of utilizing that tight end. Because if you remember from early on in Mark Sanchez's career, one of his favorite targets and his safety net was Dustin Keller. When things started to go awry. And sure, you had Braylon Edwards who could, go up and get the football. You had Santonio Holmes, who was a playmaker, Jericho Cotchery, who was just extremely clutch and very good on 3rd down. But when things started to go really bad and he was out trying to make a play, the one guy who you could always count on, especially on 3rd downs also, was Dustin Keller. And the Jets really haven't had a tight end ever since then who you could rely on and who was, actually good and utilized as part of your offense. Like, for instance, the last time the Jets had a really good offense, 2015, they didn't use the tight end at all. Shane Gailey doesn't even know what a tight end is. They were pretty much exclusively used Ivory, Decker, Marshall, and like a little bit of Quincy Enunwa, and that was it. This Jets team is going to be completely different. They'll utilize both running backs, which is going to be good. They have 4 wide receivers that you're very comfortable with, and you have 3 tight ends that you're very comfortable with. But like I said, last year in Zach Wilson's rookie year, they didn't really utilize the tight ends all that much because they didn't have the personnel to do it. Now they do, and it's going to get Zach Wilson used to throwing to tight ends. And I like that. I think that's really the way to build a well-rounded NFL offense, is you see so many of these teams who get too one-dimensional on offense, where it's like, okay, they're either just all about the running backs, let's say. Like, for instance, you find a team like Tennessee. Their offense is way too predictable, and they haven't been able to get over the hump because they just go through Derrick Henry. But if you have a more diverse offense where you could do a little bit of everything and you could beat teams in many different ways, you could play to your strength depending on what's working at that time, or you could play to your opponent's weakness. Like, let's say, I don't know, maybe the linebackers aren't that great on a team you're playing in one of your games. Well, maybe utilize the middle of the field. The linebackers can't cover. Great. Tight ends are going to feast that week. Or maybe like, hey, they're pretty good. Linebackers and safeties are pretty good, but they're outside corners and a little bit of a question mark. Perfect. You have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. You could get so many ways. Or maybe the front. Okay, how about this? Interior defensive line's a real weakness. Well, Breece Hall and Michael Carter's probably going to feast, especially against this Jets run blocking offensive line. So I'm excited to see Zach Wilson just go there and get that experience. For your young quarterback, you just want him to get as much experience as humanly possible. And I think that's what he's going to be getting here at TEU. So I'm excited to see him there. I think it's a good thing that he's there. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Zach Wilson going to TEU. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe here if you are new, and I'll talk to you next time.